Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Ali's World of Finance. In this quick video, we're going to be doing a stock review of GameStop, ticker symbol GME. And GameStop is basically this retail gaming store where they sell video games and game accessories and consoles. And they have a big stake in the used game industry, so they sell a lot of used games and used accessories and used consoles, things like that. And their stock has been going down lately. And a big reason why is because the gaming industry is basically shifting from, hard copy games to digital copy games. And if more people are buying their games digitally, that means that there's less customers going into the actual physical retail store to purchase those hard copy games, which means that they're not going to be picking up accessories and consoles and that kind of stuff. So, you know, uh, gaming stores actually don't make a lot of profit from video games, but they do make a lot of profit from accessories. So if customers are not coming in for those games, less chance that they're going to be buying the accessories and those higher margin products where they can obviously make more profit on them. Now, another reason why they're struggling is because of the emergence of Amazon, online retailers, and even Best Buy is seeing some success in the gaming industry, selling and things like that. So we're going to look at their competition and some of the things going on and why people have been selling the stock, and if GameStop can adapt, what their future looks like, if we should be looking more closely into GameStop, or if we should just be, steering clear altogether. So let's start with the numbers. Now, they have a market cap of $2.46 billion. They have a PE ratio of 7.13. Their 52-week high was at $32.67. Their 52-week low was at $20.10, fairly recent. And currently, last time I checked, they were at around $24.5, maybe a little less than that. And most price targets that I've been seeing from analysts have been at around $25. Now, in previous quarters, GameStop hasn't done that bad at all. They've actually been meeting a lot of the estimates. However, lately they've been struggling a lot, and a lot of it has to do with their last quarter earnings. So on March 23rd, they reported quarter four earnings, and their sales year over year were down 14%. And so that just kind of proved to everybody that all of their fears were coming true, and they panicked and they sold stock, and stock took a little bit of a nosedive there. Now, the stock reached its lowest point in the last 4 years, and that's really when they reached that 52-week low. Now, they've been bouncing back a little bit. You can see that currently they're at around 24, but I'll get a little more into that towards the end of the video. Now, when we look at the gaming industry and when we look at gaming retail stores and things like that, you have to pay close attention to the memberships that they have, because when you I don't know how much, I don't know how many of my subscribers or viewers play video games, but memberships matter because that's where you get discounts on the video games and different things like that. So let's look at GameStop's membership, because I think it's actually a really bad membership and I think it's hurting them. Now, for their Power Up Pro membership, they charge $14.99 per year, so around $15 per year, and that gets you 20 points per every dollar you spend. Now, if you reach 5,000 points, then you automatically get a $5 like cash certificate that you spend in store, and that is not that's not great. So I'm doing the math in my head right now because I forgot to write it down, but I believe that's around, you'd have to spend around $250 to get that $5. So that's horrible. If I did the math correctly, that's horrible. And they give you other perks, but their other perks are not that great, and I'll explain why. When you buy pre-owned games, you get 10%, you get a 10% discount, or anything pre-owned, you get a 10% discount, which is practically nothing because their pre-owned sales are already overpriced, in my opinion. They're usually very overpriced. What GameStop does, their whole strategy is they get you to come in and sell them your used games for a ridiculously low price, and then they take that and they resell it for a ridiculously high price. And that's where GameStop makes most of its profit. It's actually not that much on new games, but new games helps bring in customers and kind of gets the cycle rolling. So 10% discount on pre-owned items and games and things like that is not that great because they're already selling it pretty high. Now, when you trade in anything, when you sell something to GameStop, they'll give you a 10% bonus. But again, that is kind of meaningless because they're already giving you almost nothing. So that's kind of meaningless also. Now, one last thing. They also give coupons, and their coupons are not too bad. And their coupons are sometimes found in their magazines, which is kind of good advertisement. But that brings me to their magazines, because that is the one thing that I actually like about their membership is their magazines. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I never shop at GameStop. I don't buy anything from GameStop. However, I still have their Power Up Pro membership. Now, before you call me an idiot, let me explain why I have it. They give you 12 issues of the Game Informer magazine. So every month you get an issue of that magazine. And I love that magazine. So I pay the $15 a year just so I can get those magazines. And I really like looking at them. The magazines are really good. They're very informative, and they talk about future games. So I really like the magazines. So that's the one thing that I like about that membership. Now, let's talk about their competition and their memberships, because they're much better. So now let's start with Amazon, because Amazon is probably their biggest threat right now. So Amazon has Amazon Prime, which, as you know, subscriptions for Amazon Prime have been increasing all the time, and numbers are coming out, and it's just crazy. They're saying so many people have Amazon Prime. So as long as you have Amazon Prime, then you get their Prime Games deals. So every new game that you buy from Amazon has a 20% discount. That's a really big discount there. In fact, a lot of small, like mom and pop shops, a lot of them actually buy video games from Amazon. They get the 20% discount, and then they sell them at full price later. So that is a heavy discount. And with that discount, they're probably not even making profit. But the reason that Amazon does it, and they might even be taking loss, but it might be just kind of right there. And the reason that they do it is because, say you're on Amazon and you're looking at a video game, you get 20% discount, so you buy your video game there, which I always buy my video games from Amazon, and you're looking at the video game, all of a sudden you have a recommendation for an accessory. So you have a recommendation, say you're buying a Nintendo Switch game, and then there's a recommendation for the Pro Controller. Well, that Pro Controller costs $80. And say it has, great reviews on it, and you want the Pro Controller, you might look at it, you might click on it, you might read the reviews, you think it's great, and you might buy it. And then right there, Amazon made a huge amount of profit. So that brings in a lot of customers to Amazon, helps people buy other items on Amazon, and it takes away the customers from places like GameStop. Now, you also get same-day delivery. So instead of having to drive to a store to pick up your game, you get it same-day delivered to your door. The same day that it's released, you get it at your door. So not only are you getting a bigger discount than GameStop, but you're getting it delivered. And prices for Amazon Prime can vary, but I got the student discount, so I believe I paid $50 for that. So not that bad at all, considering that I can buy so many other things from Amazon. And then if you have the Amazon Visa credit card, which I do have, you also get 5% back. So now you're talking a 25% discount. Okay, so 25% compared to, I don't even know what that is. I hate it when companies use points. I think it's ridiculous, because you use points and people never understand what that means. How much are you actually getting back? Well, with Amazon, you're getting 25% back. Same day delivery just completely destroys GameStop. So GameStop needs to adjust, and I can't believe that they're not adjusting, but we'll have to wait and see what they come up with later, and I'll get into that in a second. Now, let's look at Best Buy. Best Buy has the Gamers Club. Their price is $30 for 2 years, okay, so a lot cheaper than the other, cheaper than Amazon, about the same price as GameStop. And they give you a 20% discount, just like Amazon, for new games. Old games, you get a 10% discount, which is the same as GameStop. And points, you get 2 times points. Again, points, I don't like points, but you get 2 times points. And they actually do give you coupons fairly often, and Best Buy does give you pretty good coupons with your points and things like that. So I think Best Buy, again, also destroys GameStop. Now, let's look at some other things that have been happening. So Microsoft recently announced that they're going to be having this Netflix-like subscription service for their Xbox, where you can basically pay a fee, like a monthly fee, and you can play all the games you want that they have listed on there. And right when they announced that, GameStop stock dropped 5%. Something similar happened with EA Access. EA Access is basically the same thing as what Microsoft is doing, but just with EA Games, Electronic Arts Games. Well, GameStop also dropped 5% when that got announced. And then PlayStation Now, which is kind of PlayStation's version of that. And I don't know too much about it, but I just know it's kind of similar in some ways. It's like a streaming service. And GameStop stock dropped 9% when they announced that. So you can see like there's so many things that are affecting GameStop stock. Now let's look at overall and let's look at to the future and let's see what's going to happen here. So we're seeing a decline in sales, which is just completely hurting them. So in their next earnings call, we got to see what's happening with their sales. Digital game. So there's an increase in digital games. The gaming industry is moving from hard copy to digital, and that is hurting them. And we need to see if GameStop can adapt. So those are the three things that I'm really looking at in their next earnings call, which is going to take place on May 25th. Now, some of the good things that could help GameStop is that the gaming industry is actually thriving. A lot of reports are coming out that game sales are up, and the gaming industry as a whole, as a market, is doing really well. Now, there's also the Nintendo Switch, which I talk a lot about in my videos, and I'm actually working on a Nintendo Switch review video, so keep an eye out for that, which I'm going to do that so that you can kind of see why I'm so bullish on Nintendo stock, because I talk about Nintendo stock a lot. So I'm going to do a review of the Nintendo Switch because a lot of people have been asking me for that and asking what that thing is and what it does. So I'm going to release that maybe tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. But basically, the Nintendo Switch is selling like crazy for Nintendo, and that is an opportunity for GameStop to sell a lot of consoles because you can't buy a digital console, right? You have to go into the store and buy a physical console, or you can order it on Amazon. But if you go into GameStop and buy that, that is an opportunity for GameStop to sell you a bunch of accessories and a bunch of games for the console. Now, there's also the Xbox Scorpio coming out soon, which I think GameStop will also heavily rely on. So on May 25th, when they have their next, quarterly earnings, you should really keep an eye out and an ear out for these things. And I really think that GameStop will talk. Excuse me. I really think that GameStop will talk a lot about the Nintendo Switch and how they're relying on that. But I don't care about that. It's not going to affect me. What I want to know is how are they adapting? What are they going to do with digital game? GameStop is actually selling a lot of like T-shirts and keychains and little like toys and souvenirs, because their gaming sales are just declining left and right. So it's like they don't know what to sell. So I don't want like any excuses. I want them to talk about how they're adapting. So if they want people to invest in their stock, they need to talk about how they're adapting. They have to have an actual strategy. And if I don't see that, then I'm for sure not investing in GameStop. And really the only way you could get me to invest in GameStop is if it took a humongous dive and it just got super low to where I thought that it was just worth it because it could bounce back a little bit. But I really don't see that happening. I think long term, I think GameStop is done. Maybe you could do a short term with the Nintendo Switch. Maybe stock will go up a little bit. Xbox Scorpio stock will go up a little bit. But in the long run, I think GameStop is done. And I'm sad to see it because I'm a gamer. I love gaming stores, but unfortunately, things are happening and it's struggling. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're new, please subscribe. I do stock reviews all the time. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Take care.